Hey y'all, it's your captain for all things creative coming at you with the Real Housewives of New Jersey season 14 episode 13 review. If you're new to this channel, welcome. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you're returning, thank you so much for rocking with us. Let's get into the episode, but first, don't forget to register to vote. And just know that I think that these ladies absolutely could have had a reunion, but I guess Bravo's sick of this cast dynamic. Even though the show was getting toxic, this episode was actually entertaining. So let's get into like the major events that happened. So the first major scene is Marge bragging to Fessler about sending Teresa them funeral flowers. And Fessler gives a reaction that I gave, like, isn't that a little morbid? Isn't that a little much? But, you know, it is what it is. But then Marge roasts Jackie for even going, and then she says that she's gonna drop worse bombs about Jackie the next time they all meet, since the text messages about Dolores weren't even half of what she has on her. So then Dolores joins these two, and this is my first favorite scene of the show. At first, Dolores starts off chill, marveling at the little snacks and ice cream, but she has not forgotten what Teresa's lawyer revealed. She has said she was going to get to the bottom of if Marge was lying or not, because Marge always denied talking to Louis' ex, right? So when Marge, asked Dolores how was the tea session with the lawyer, Dolores explains that it wasn't, a roast about her, because Marge was acting like, Teresa was roasting her and ganging up on her. But Dolores explains that Tree, was telling them what was happening in their lives and with this court case that was stressing them out. And then she basically tells Marge outright that Teresa brought up that she basically learned from the lawyers that Marge had been talking to Louis' ex since 2021. Marge says that she didn't know Louis' ex at first, but she admitted to contacting Louis' ex twice on text only to confirm things about Bo Dietl to get the proof that she needed about that. And then Dolores clocks Marge lying about that in the confessional by saying that Marge couldn't have possibly went to Louis' ex to find out about Bo Dietl because Louis and Teresa were together then, and the ex was not allowed to talk to Louis because they were in litigation over a restraining order that she wanted. So Marge's like, how are you going to find out what Louis is doing when y'all, by court mandate, aren't allowed to speak? So Dolores clocked that lie, especially because Louis was also with Teresa too at that point. So then Delolo presses Marge in person as well about why she would contact Louis' ex in the first place. She was like, why would you do such a thing? So you see Delolo, she's, trying to get in Marge's behind about this a little bit. And then Marge then kind of changes her mouth and says that the ex actually just told her what Louis had done to her. So this is Marge's next lie, because first she's saying that they just talked so that she could get receipts about Bo Dietl and she'd get all the proof that she needed. But then she said that the girl just told her what Louis had done to her. So then by the time Marge tried to slip in a little sly statement that, oh, well, you could have known all this when I had invited you to my house, but you didn't come. And then that's when Delolo lost it. She was mad that Marge was lying in her face because I guess she let the first lie slide. But Delolo said that this was Marge slick trying to make her look disloyal to Teresa by insinuating that Marge told her about the Louis takedown meeting and invited her. And Delolo said no, I never told Teresa about it. And Delolo told Marge, like, you will lie and see you next Tuesday. And I was here for it. The Lolo carried this seed and she scared the bejesus out of Marge and Fessler because, she was not having Marge try to implicate her in the takedown meeting at her house. And she's like, I did not know about that meeting. You did not invite me. And then Marge in her confession would be like, well, we both remember it differently. And from there, I was like, yeah, you lying. Because if I was telling the truth, I would not talk about no remembering stuff differently. You remember lying, right? So then Fessor stops Dolores from leaving because Dolores was about to walk out the door and walk out of Marge's life after this argument. Cause she's like, you're not lying on me. You're not going to make me look no bad friends. I'm out. And Fessor's like, see, I don't like this. We got to calm down. We got to talk. So Fessor saved Marge from getting Delolo's full wrath and booty to kiss, right? Then you see Danielle, Fuda, and Melissa talk about Teresa's tea party with the lawyer with the stale tea. And Melissa says in her confessional that all of Louis' exes and even one of his nieces was reaching out to all the cast members to warn them about how they should all be afraid of Louis. And then Danielle tells, Melissa and Fuda that Tree is worried sick and losing weight. She's real thin now because of this case. And Fuda fixed her hate about to say that Tree is not thin out of worry, but she's thin because of Ozempic. And I was like, I know Fuda's not talking about anybody's body as she favors the skeleton from The Nightmare Before Christmas in Whoville, but that's neither here nor there. But then Danielle redirects them all by saying that, she wants to get closure at this dinner by airing out all her leftover bad feelings. And Melissa first commiserates, but then says that she doesn't really want to say anything to anyone. Then you see Danielle and her family carving pumpkins, and they're running down on Jen and Bill and saying things like, Jen is the reason why Bill hides in the pool house and whatnot. But the big happening in this episode is that someone named Sam texts her. So I think that's her brother or her dad. But y'all put in the comments who Sam is, because I didn't know and I didn't care, because she's not fully honest about what all is going on with her family that caused them to fall out. So next you see everybody getting ready for the Last Supper. Dolores' Last Supper is what they call it. And Paulie and Delolo have a cute scene where, he's just asking her, what she thinks is going to go down and what Tree would say. And then we cut to Tree getting ready with Louis, and they have a little bit of a cringy scene, to be honest. Louis wearing a shirt that says Transcend, but he proceeds to go on a horrible tirade where he runs down on Marge and wishes her all kind of evil and wishes suffering on her and her family and even her son. And this scene shows me exactly why Tree had a muzzle on him all season, because there are a lot of scenes where I'm like, why doesn't Louis say nothing? But he needed to keep quiet because this was too much, because he has the right to feel however he feels, but he was channeling some demons in that scene to be wearing some spiritual shirt like that. And then Tree switches the subject to her brother and Melissa, since she will see Melissa again and they'll film together after avoiding filming together almost all season. And she says she has no plans to resolve anything with Melissa, before admitting that actually she kept the peace with her brother while their parents were alive, but now that their parents are gone, she's glad to be done with them. So you see Melissa and Joe talk about him wearing, their father's watch. And Melissa brings up how Danielle said that Tree and the girls are suffering because of the Louis drama. And Joe says that of course he's worried about Tree, but he's not engaging with her again. And he thinks that if Tree was really suffering, actually, she wouldn't say anything, because that's the old school Italian way. So the fact that she's talking about herself suffering means that she's probably just acting. And Melissa co-signs that her feelings is probably deflection to create a distraction about what Louis got going on. But that's unhealthy, like to say that if you're not suffering, that's when you'll talk about it. Again, they have like a toxic mindset, to the point that they almost let Fuda die last episode with not wanting to go see a doctor. So I think Teresa's right to break away from that foolishness about, like not talking about your feelings for real if stuff is going on, and not seeing doctors, not seeing therapists or whatever. So he just looked ignorant there. And then you see that Melissa backs Margaret meeting up with Louis' ex by saying that, well, Tree and Jen met with Marge's ex-friend, so Marge is getting her get back, and she loves that for her. So, it's basically the case that they don't see it for each other. Also, even though Melissa is trying to equate what Teresa and Jen did by befriending Marge's ex-friend with Marge talking to Louis' ex, the difference for me is that Teresa and Jen told people about it. They were honest about it, especially to Danielle. And Marge lied about talking to Louis' ex for years until this season. So I think they all do the same thing. But the fact that Marge is a liar is shown in more than one ways, even more this episode on top of that. So when the Last Supper starts, all the ladies arrive before Tree, who makes an entrance after everyone starts eating, and she comes in hot by saying that she does not want to sit across from Margaret, or else Marge is going to be wearing her food, and she's trying to do better. So she asks to trade seats before Delolo explains that everyone is supposed to be there to air their grievances, right? So then Danielle and Jen rehash the charity drama about Danielle allegedly paying herself back with the funds that were raised. And they get nowhere as Jen calls Danielle a clown and Danielle says her house is empty. And even though she has 18 bathrooms, she don't really have her man to be there for her before Jen gags Danielle the first time by saying that because she does not talk to her family, she trying to find love with these friends. And then Jen finishes Danielle completely by saying that Danielle has to go home to her man who got all the boobs while she has all the brawn. I'm not gonna lie, I cackle because I never noticed Danielle's husband's boobs till Jen said that. And then she even says stuff how Danielle has to buy a bra for him, so that sends Danielle over the edge, and she's wanting to pop Jen once more. And she's lunging across the table. She got to be held back. So while Danielle's bucking and foaming at the mouth, Melissa's wax self tries to take a chance to throw digs at Teresa, even though Tree had nothing to do with this. And she said she was going to be mute. But now that Danielle was having her moment with Jen, Melissa wanted to make a moment by yelling at Tree and saying that Tree's the queen of that kind of mess before getting to calling Teresa white trash and saying that the girls who were fighting learned how to act up from Tree. So then Tree calls Melissa a hoe, and the two have a verbal fight before Fudo opened up her nose to try to yell for everybody to stop. But Delolo manages to get Danielle in the hall, and production kind of gets Danielle out too. And Tree follows, and somehow Danielle ends up yelling at Tree that the situation isn't about her, which confused me a little since from what I saw, Danielle was crying since she got angry that she didn't get to pop Jen, but then she explained to Delolo that what Jen said about her husband's titties will hurt him, so that made her extra upset. But then Tree came up to her calmly and asked Danielle why she did that. And Danielle said now's not the right time and was dismissing Tree. So then Tree tried to calm her down by saying, hey, look what Marge is doing. And then Danielle yelled at her that it's not about Tree right now. Tree tried to say, well, if she could keep it together in front of Marge, then Danielle should be able to keep it together in front of Jen. But then Jen and Delolo just walked away from Tree. Since at the end of the day, Danielle secretly doesn't see it for Tree or Jen since she feels like they set her up. But she films with Tree, especially because Tree is a star of the show. So Tree should have went by Jen's side. She should have went and comforted her homegirl, especially if she wanted to prove that she wanted to be more loyal like Jen had asked her to do. But I guess in her own way, Tree thought that Danielle was basically kicked out of production, so this was her last chance to try to broker peace. But Danielle does make it back after all, after asking, the cast if they're okay with it. So Jen Fessler, though, leaves and says that she's not used to all this much mess. And then Jolola asks Jen if it's okay for Danielle to come back. And Jen says she can come back. And Melissa tries to say that she's going to sit back like a whore, but Tree pays her dust. So then Marge and Teresa get into it. And Marge gets to lying and says that the first time she contacted Louis' ex was in 2022 after Teresa and Jen had reached out to her ex best friend. And Delolo clocks Marge's lie again, since Marge had said in their meeting earlier that she did not speak to Louis' ex before New York, which is referring to the last reunion, which was when Bo Dietl was brought up, and then she said that she only contacted the ex to find out about Bo Dietl. But now, all of a sudden, Marge is changing her mouth again and admitting that the collusion with the ex started before the reunion. So Marge lied again. Her motives for contacting the ex is not clear, and she cannot keep her lies straight. It's actually sad to see. So then Tree and Jen team up and call Marge a liar, and Delolo is quiet because she knows Marge is lying too. And then Jackie says in her confessional that, yeah, Marge is lying because the meeting before the reunion um, at Marge's house was all about how to destroy Louis. So while Teresa was saying that the meeting was a smear campaign against her, Marge was saying no, it wasn't. But Jackie was like, nah, it really was, right? So then the next big turning point in the supper is when Tree also accuses Marge of lying to the Fudas about Louis coming after them. And then Rachel Fuda says that someone who don't know Marge told them that Louis was going after them. So Tree and Danielle had a mini fight about whose husband be hiding info from who, before Danielle gets to saying that Tree's lips look like hot dogs and they get to throwing F-bombs at one another. And Fuda calls Tree obsessed, but then Tree pays for dust and basically says that no one's checking for her before. I got tired of seeing that nonsense because both of their husbands aren't the best. So then Marge ends the distraction fight by trying to clear up more of the Louis X drama with Tree by dropping a bombshell that she found out that Jackie actually had Louis X over at her house in 2021, around when the creepy video of him on the beach came out, long before Marge hosted, the thing at her house, and that made me holler. Since I thought the Last Supper couldn't get any messier, but Marge did promise to get revenge on Jackie Judas G, and she's keeping her foot on Jackie's neck as promised, and Jackie denies it. But Jen questions Jackie and she denies it some more. And then Marge says in her confessional that she called Louis' ex to complain about Tree's tea party with no tea. And when she told the ex that Jackie was there, the ex told her that Jackie hosted her. And so Marge asked for the receipts, and she has proof that Jackie had been talking to the ex since February of 2021. So when Melissa tells Jackie to admit it since Marge has proof, Jackie did the Rick James and went from, no, I didn't meet with Louis' ex, to immediately touching her hand on Louis' shoulder, a little church touch, and was like, yeah, I met with your ex. And Danielle is eating up the mess, and then Jackie explains that she was scared to tell Tree that she met with Louis' ex because, they had been fighting, and then she only kept the video just in case Tree pulled another stunt about her husband. But Jackie says she's glad that Tree knows now because she was scared about her knowing all the time. And this made me think that Jackie's definitely a liar, but she and Marge definitely worked together to, do the whole hate train on Trey and Louis. And then Marge is turned on Jackie now that, she told all of, some of the business right now. They're like, friendship is probably done. And then Marge tells Tree that she subpoenaed the wrong person, right? But Tree's always a little slow on the uptake, so she still wants to go after Marge. And Lola and Jen are trying to get Tree to process that Jackie was a snake too, but Tree says she's okay with Jackie. So this makes Marge, Danielle, and Melissa all act in disbelief that the same Tree that holds grudges with everyone else is letting Jackie off the hook. And then Jen, her confessional, is that Tree is slow to process things. Plus, she don't want to give Marge the satisfaction of being right about Jackie. But once the dust settles, Tree would probably move differently with Jackie going forward. And then Tree in her confessional says she understands Jackie because the two of them were beefing back then. But then Melissa brings up beefing over sprinkle cookies, so they're all judging Teresa. And then Jackie basically tries to explain one more time, but Delolo stops her and says that Tree is not mad, so she can go about her business. But as soon as Jackie leaves, Delolo and Jen sit around Tree, and Delolo says that Jackie must be needing a diaper right now in her car, so she's probably having bubble guts the whole time Marge was exposing her. Now, Jackie did look very ashamed. She was doing the Wendy O'Cephal slither out the door, and Delolo just sits at the end, finishing her food. And again, they could have had a reunion, but Bravo's sick of them. So let's see what they do next week. Say how you feel in the comments, and remember, you're the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Bye.